Yeah, I just did like a quick little like we're about to be on live or whatever. So I got to tell you a funny story. So
Li-
you posted a picture of the Lyle. I think it was a Lyle. Anyways, it was the tool to screw on top of the Cummins oil filter, right? And you
Oh,
showed it to
okay.
me,
Yeah.
and my response was, yeah, I don't own that. But in my head, I was thinking, dude, who in the world can't pull the oil filter straight down without spilling it, right? This is what I'm thinking. Okay. And so all that time goes by, whatever. Because the older ones, you have to stick your arm way the hell up there, right? And then just
On
balance
the
it, bring it down,
on the
right?
5.9s.
Even the 6.7s, the newer ones. But so I just did an oil change. I just did a check engine light the other day. It was an oil change and a check engine light. And it was a 6.7, a 15. And so it
Okay.
has that stupid cross member on it. And that cross member is underneath the oil filter. That's why
So
you need that little cap.
yeah, to pull it
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
side.
All the other ones, you bring it straight down like a 5.9. And
S-
so I've done newer ones before, but I've never done I must not have ever done anything less than a 450 because the three up to 1 ton, they have that cross member at 50, I think it's 14 or 15. My coworker was telling me. But the 450s and the 550s don't have them. And I've worked on a bunch of those. So I've never done an oil change on a 2015 or newer 6.7 Cummins just regular pickup truck
Oh, okay, okay.
until the other day, and then I have to put a turbo on it. So that's the worst one to do a turbo on, is with that cross member because it gets in the way. It makes life so much harder.
I've had
And
to
I
do an actuator on one of those, and it sucked.
well, the actuator wouldn't be near as bad as the turbo because the whole turbo is. But anyways, I've never done the actuator, but I've wanted to make a video on the turbo, and I've recommended a few, but never done one. And they just sold one, so I have one coming up. So
For the video. I had it wasn't I think it was a 2500 because I don't know if they make the 1500s with the turbos, but
no,
it
not
still had
no,
to been it
the
had to been a
1500s have an
2500.
eco diesel.
Okay, so it had to been a 2500 because it wasn't like
Yeah,
a full size like extended cab or I mean extra long bed whatever. But I had
right.
to do a turbo actuator and it only pays like an hour and a half, and
Oh my god,
I damn near took all day on that turbo
an
actuator.
hour and a half?
Yeah, that's all it pays, and the actuator is like
Oh,
$3,500.
Jesus! And then you're gonna have to replace the turbo later. That we don't do actuators.
No.
Our shop won't do them. Nope, nope.
Hmm.
Because it's not really like a long term repair. It's like I don't know. We just don't do it
Like a
because if we
band-aid.
put we also have to worry about the Bureau of Automotive Repair in California, and so we have this state organization that watches out for the consumer. It makes sure that shitty shops get shut down. Well, it also sucks for like regular.
Uh-oh. Cut out. I don't know if that was me or
If
you.
and then and then the turbo went out, then we would be like, feel obligated to like comp it or whatever. And so we just don't do that. It's not a repair that we do. So
Gotcha, gotcha.
what's up, Island D? Hmm?
um was
Where's
like
Tor?
no, I
Oh,
can't
Island D.
I don't remember I
That's
don't
my son's friend right there who's spending the night. My son came in. He goes, "That's Tor. That's my friend."
oh okay. Um
Torin.
we had did the actuator because the guy took it to a dealer and um he said he took it to two dealers and they wanted like almost 7 grand for the job or something like that. And
Just for the
then
actuator?
well the actuator is 3500. So
Damn.
Um, so he's like, "That's crazy," and he brought it to the shop. My boss just told me to put it on. I didn't check it. He's like, "Hey, can you do this actuator?" He's like, "It should be easy. Pays an hour and a half." I was like, "Okay." I was on it all day. Like I kid you not, I was on it from like 11 to 4 p.m. because
Did
their
you look up book
hex.
time and see what it was?
Uh, at the
See,
time,
I'll
no.
do that. if I come across something that's like, like I get like a little bit of time and then I'm in it like a lot, I'll look it up to see it. And then I'll go in and be like, dude, what the hell, man? This thing pays like it's 6 hours. Like you paid me in 1.7, or you know what I mean?
Um, well, this was like 2 years ago, so I wasn't worried about the.
2 years
But
ago?
yeah,
Oh, you weren't flat rate then.
yeah. So because now I make the labor times for my tickets, but
But
there
not
were
that one you
hex,
were.
there were hex, there were hex bolts,
Yeah,
and
hex.
they didn't want to come out, and one of them started
Uh,
rounding out, and it was just like, and you couldn't get to it perfectly straight because you have the strut tower mount
yeah.
in the way. So I just like, I don't know, and I told him next time we do one, I was like, charge accordingly because that. And he lost out on money on that one because he was paying me by the hour for that job.
Well, even if you were flat rate, you still losing money
Yeah,
because you're,
for sure, but
because then you're on a job all day. You're not making any money for a whole day. I know my manager, he doesn't want any of us doing anything that pulls us off for a long time because we're not making him any money. There's no control arms getting done. There's no, I
easy
don't get that
stuff.
I don't get that kind of work. So my
But
God, my neighbor, man, he has a garbage can next to him and he fills that garbage can up with control arms and struts and man,
dang, he's just
but
a
I mean,
suspension guy
hey,
or what?
what?
He's just a suspension guy.
No, he's a fast R&R guy, and unfortunately, I get most of the diesels. I would say I get probably like at least 95% of the diesels. Uh, we have a Euro guy, and he can do diesels too, but he doesn't like to do diesels. He would prefer to only work on Euro cars. And so, in a perfect world, if he worked on only Euro cars, he'd be happy. And so he only works on diesels when they overflow.
And
So
it's basically when you're overfilled.
yeah,
Yeah. So
but even
okay.
when I'm overfilled, I mean, generally they try to keep, like I mean, I'm booked to my gills right now, and I had to diag a 7.3 this morning, and I'm in the middle of one engine job. I had to stop that engine job and do another engine. So when I get done with both of those, then I got to go to the Cummins and do the turbo and the PCV filter and the belt and all that. So
How many bays do you have?
I have two. See,
You have
I'm
two
I'm
bays.
lucky. We have a so we have hang on. So normally we have one other guy. We got rid of a guy and we didn't replace him, but I have a feeling they're about to. So we have one, two, three. We have 5 bays on one side. And normally we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 bays on one side and 5 guys on those
Hmm.
5 bays. On the other side of the shop, we have 2 guys in the front, and they share 3 racks. I think they share 3 racks, or they have 2. My neighbor has 2 racks. I have 2 racks, and then the Euro guy has 2 racks. And then we have an alignment rack.
They
So
can
we have a
anyone
big
can
shop.
up and grab.
Yeah,
Dang.
we have a lot of people. So, but I have 2 racks. But I mean, I like right now I'm in the middle of an engine. I have a 3.6 Ram van, little minivan that I pulled an engine out of. And as soon as I got the engine out of it, I had to stop and diag a 7.3, which needs a transmission. And then I had to pull an engine on a 6.2 Ford, a 15.
Dang. So you pulled two engines out today?
Yeah, I have. Well, no, it's all I have to do is take the bell housing bolts out and the
Oh,
engine out.
okay.
But
Okay,
it's
but
ready to
you
come out.
started tearing it down and
Yeah,
stuff.
oh yeah.
I was like,
It's ready
nah,
to come
fast
out.
as fuck, boy.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't take them. No, I worked on the Ram van for like a day and a half.
Oh,
No, that
okay,
one took
okay.
me a while to get the engine out. It was a pain in the ass.
Was it really?
Well, it was just the way they wanted me to do it, and I wasn't real sure. The procedure wasn't super. In those Ram vans and even the Jeep. I did a Jeep. It was
The
not a
Wrangler. The
no,
Wrangler?
no, no, no. It was a front wheel drive vehicle. It was a Jeep. I did heads on a 3.6 like not super long ago. It was some sort of Jeep, like a small Jeep, not a Jeep
Patriot or
Wrangler,
Liberty.
like a Patriot or something like that. Anyways, it was a front wheel drive Jeep. A front wheel drive. Oh, what's up, Diesel Dog in the house?
Hey, he
It was
just
a
did a
front wheel
turbo.
drive. That's the turbo guy right there.
Yeah, he just did a 6.7. I think I saw him
Yeah,
posted
he's done
yesterday.
hella 6.7s. He just did one the other day, I thought too.
Yeah, I think I seen him posted yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, so it's a front wheel drive. It was a 4-wheel drive. And it has this weird like subframe that has the rack and everything. Well, the engine and transmission don't drop straight down because of the subframe. And so with that Jeep, I dropped the two. I knew it. Two turbos this week.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So it was like I was gonna try to drop it without it, and then I decided to take the subframe out, and then I unbolted hell of crap to undo the subframe. Like, I mean, everything. It was ready to drop down. And then I realized the brake lines went through the subframe. And I
What
was
the
like,
heck?
nope, I'm not doing that. So then I went back to then I basically had to put the transmission on like we have this table, a hydraulic table. So I pumped that up to the transmission, and then I put the engine on a jack stand. And then we pretty much had, I'm not even joking. Let's just say, here's the engine and transmission like this. Hang on, I'm trying to do. Okay, let's say the engine and transmission is like this.
Mm-hmm.
I had to move the transmission like this as we were lifting the engine up. Then we had to move the whole damn thing this way, like that far. Yeah.
What the heck?
Hey, we got the transmission on a table. We're rolling it, and I'm sliding a jack stand with my foot, sliding the engine, hoping to God that it doesn't fall off on my leg. Yeah.
What the heck? So,
stupid.
would you have been able to like lift a cab or something on that one
It would
instead?
have been the whole body. It's a minivan.
So you couldn't. You would have to like figure out a way to remove it from the whole frame.
Yeah, hang on. Let me grab a tissue. See, on the Jeep Wrangler, the brake lines didn't go on that Jeep Patriot or whatever. The brake lines didn't go through the subframe, so I actually dropped the subframe on that one. So,
I actually got a 03 Pathfinder right now. It's in the shop. I don't know if you remember. I posted about it a couple of weeks ago. I had a real bad misfire. It was basically a dead coil. Well, it came back. It needed a bunch of work. The guy had just bought it from some mom and pop shop, and he wanted to check it out for that vibration, whatever. And it wasn't smoking or anything before when he brought it, but I had I'm talking like a list of, and like he wanted to know everything is done. He actually has a newer Pathfinder, and he had a list of problems, and he did everything. So he's like, I want to know everything that's wrong with it, so we can fix it and get it done. So I wrote down everything. Brings it back because he says it's smoking. I mean, it basically needs an engine, but he wants to do an overhaul, and I'm just like, I don't want to do it.
No, hell no.
It's 03. Like,
no.
I was like, no. I was like, either
shit,
new engine or take it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what about a used? I was like, I'm not doing used on flat rate.
Oh shit! Hang on. I just made my whole damn screen just me and you. You got that was crazy. You were like hella big. You were like half.
Oh, it's not. My bad.
Diesel Dog, what's up, man? This guy is the turbo guy.
Viper mods.
If you guys,
he has a sweet
follow
Corvette.
This guy, go check him out. He used to be a gas and light duty mechanic, and now he's I don't know. He likes to hurt himself now. He likes to work on big ass trucks now. I don't know. It hurts my feelings when he's doing those damn leaf springs and shit. I'm like, oh no, no way.
Honestly, this week was pretty slow, man. Like it was actually pretty dead. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I only did like 25 hours this week.
25? Damn. I got hella work right now. Sucks because like there's a bunch of guys in the shop that don't have any work. Viper mods in the house.
See that? I don't know. It's like I've seen some people that are like stupid busy, and there's a lot of people that are like, dude, I made 5 hours this week, and I'm just like, And I'm fortunate. I'm an only tech, so I'm kind of busy. But I was off Tuesday, and then Monday nothing came in. Honestly,
I'm off one day.
I'm usually off on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, I thought you were. I thought you were at that Deftones thing. I thought you were there longer than one day. I didn't realize.
No,
Or was
yeah,
this
it was
the
just
concert?
one day, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I took off Tuesday.
What's
Dude,
up, Jeff
honestly,
Hurley?
this whole month, I'm only working 14 days this month at the actual shop.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
You
was
got hell
off
of vacation and stuff?
I was off Tuesday, and then I'm not working tomorrow. And the next weekend, the 12th through the 14th, the shop's closed because of the daughter's graduation. So they're leaving the city to do
See, that's
the.
crazy that the whole shop just closes.
Well, it's just
I've
me and
never
him.
experienced that.
So,
I've never experienced that before. Yeah,
and then
that's
that
crazy.
following weekend, I go on vacation from 19th to the 24th.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Florida.
Oh, okay. Dang, Florida. What are you going there for?
It's for my girlfriend's birthday. We're taking her to Florida.
Oh, nice.
So,
You going to Disney World?
no, we went to Disneyland in Cali like in
Oh, okay.
November. So, we're just
Oh,
going to Florida. But that
nice.
weekend, I get back the 27th through the 30th. We're closed for Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, geez.
So it's like, so
Wow.
like I'm literally working like 14
So
days
how
this
does that
month.
work when the boss shuts down for a week? Do you get paid for the week?
Yeah, I still have like vacation pay and
Oh,
uh
you have to use your vacation
no,
though?
no, no. I have like vacation pay, and then I have like they usually pay me like 8 hours for the days that they close for them.
Oh, so okay, so you'll get paid like a 40
Like pay
hour week.
like holidays and stuff like that. Like I'll get my holiday pay. So
Oh, okay.
say like on like next week. So I'm only gonna work 3 days, right? Um, that 12th and 13th that were closed, I'll get paid 8 hours. They'll pay me 8 hours, so that's like paid holiday, I guess.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's not part of my vacation. So,
Okay.
but
Nice.
the time I'm taking off, I'm using my vacation time.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So it works out.
Let me run through this real quick. Frederico, what's up, guys? Nick Hildebridal. Yes, I am live with Dazeni. We were going to go live a few weeks ago, but he had a family, a real close family friend come into town at the last minute. And have you guys ever
NH.
installed a redhead steering gearbox and had really loose steering? I've never heard of a redhead steering gearbox before.
Yeah, never heard of that.
Yeah, me neither. Fix it, Paul. Fix it all, Paul. This week was dead in New Hampshire. What's up, Paul? How's it going, man? Man, I haven't been able to record anything all week. Been doing
I
all this
haven't been.
heavy duty work.
I need to buy a new phone so I can record because my
Oh,
audio sucks. Like the other day, I wanted to. What did I do? What was it? I think it was Monday. I did some struts on a Honda. I was like, "Oh, these are easy. This will be a good how-to video."
right.
And I was recording, and the audio just sounded like pure shit.
Why don't you just do a voiceover?
I don't know. I was thinking about that, but I don't know. I probably
See,
because
I
I
have
have
to do that.
videos,
See, I
but
have to do that. I work in such a big shop, and it's a big ass shop. Like the building is really big too. And when we get cracking, like people turn their music up loud. And so my neighbor and we usually listen to similar music. Like a lot of times I'll be like, hey, what do you feel like listening to today? Um, Most of the time, if I'm going to be filming, I'll ask them, hey, do you mind if we play whatever you want to listen to, but play it on my computer? And so that way I can pause it and record and unpause it. Versus if he's listening to it, I have to go over to his computer, which is a pain in the ass.
and pause it.
Yeah. So and so usually, when I'm at that point, we'll just switch to my computer. But like if the Euro guy behind me has music on, or if Juan across the shop has his music on. I mean, it's just, and I just did like a Sprinter video. It was going to be like, I'm not even kidding. It's going to be coming out Monday or Sunday night or whatever. It was supposed to be just a simple R&R water pump on a Sprinter. And it turned into a crazy ass diag video and a repair. Because this thing took me, it bounced me off the ropes, threw me off the top rope, body slammed me, head dunked me. Holy crap. Oh my God. Let me tell you, it was hell trying to figure out how this system worked. And why this thing would set a code. It's a vacuum actuated water pump.
What?
Yeah, it's a vacuum. If it's a vacuum actuated water pump, but basically what I discovered after all the work that I did on this thing, the vacuum makes the water pump not. It makes the water pump. It
Not.
makes the impeller not spin, or it's. I can't find a description in operation, but basically what it is for 3 minutes it wants the temperature of the vehicle to be like this. While the vacuum is actuating the water pump for
It's like
3 minutes.
it keeps it from flowing.
Yeah, there's
Pretty
like a
much.
ring behind the impeller, and I don't know if it stops the impeller or well, no, it can't stop it because it's connected to the belt, but somehow, basically, a vacuum actuator turns on for 90 seconds, and it sends vacuum to the water pump. And if it's working, the water pump, the temperature sits like this. And as soon as the vacuum turns off, then the temp goes like this. And so I had it backwards because in the beginning, the water pump that I put on, you'll see in the video, the water pump I put on was like this, and the temp was like this while the actuator was actuating. And I didn't understand it because, like, one guy, my Euro guy, he put a water pump in that van, and he said everything was operating properly. So we just put a water pump in because it was the most likely cause. And we have a Chinese Mercedes scan laptop. So, I mean, it's like almost the same as a Euro laptop. And and so then I put a water pump in it, and it was still messed up. Man, I'll just wait till the video. It was crazy. So I had to go voice the video over because of music and because I diagged it backwards. Like I'm sitting there in the video going, okay, so it looks like the coolant, because the one I put in, I thought it was good, right? But it was like this. While the actuator is actuating, here's the coolant level. The coolant is going up. And I'm like, yep, it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to, right?
But
oh my God, it was crazy. So I had to voice the whole damn video over. So, but I actually have to do that quite a bit. It sucks though because it takes so much time.
It takes a lot of time. So I was thinking about that because I have like
watch the whole video like 7 times at least because I have to like watch the section
and then say it in that
then
one whole.
Try to remember everything I said, and then I have to pause it, cut the audio, do the dude, hit the mic, and then start to record and go, oh crap, I forgot. Hang on, I go turn the audio back on, listen to it. Oh, that's right. It was a P2041, not a P2401. Like it's just, man, it's very unfortunate. I have to do that.
I feel like sometimes it's easier like on those because you do like wait, what did I say that right? Or you gotta. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes I feel like it's just better just to type in what you're doing. Like
yeah, I like to do that, but I mean, for me, most of the time when I do voiceovers, it's when there's music in the background, and I have to do it because of music.
Copyright.
I'm sitting there listening on my headphones, and I'm sitting there and I'm editing, and I'm like, all right, everything looks good, and I'm like, oh, that's apple bottom jeans, damn it. Or, you know, like if I hear any music except for Mexican music, that's the only music that I don't edit it for because YouTube hasn't picked up on that. Because one will have the Mexican music across. Well, like he's crazy because like 1 minute it'll be Mexican music and the next minute it'll be like, you know, hardcore gangster rap. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So, you know, it's just, and we have a lot of guys. It's a big ass shop. Music going every direction. I mean, you know, it's really hard to film videos.
I bet. I know. Sometimes, like when you're recording, you hear like all the air guns and then I know you get interrupted. Like people come up to you, you're like, oh crap, and then you gotta cut it out and see. Yeah.
Yep. So, what's that, Renegade Garage? What's happening?
99 Accord starts and runs and shuts off.
99 Accord? Does it have a distributor? 99. It doesn't have a distributor, I don't think. Main relay? Oh, wait. Ignition switch. My guess is ignition switch. I'm guessing ignition switch. That's what I guess. Wiggle the key. No, it's a 99 Accord. I bet it's the ignition switch. So
starts and then shuts off.
And I bet you Federico, I bet it starts right back up, right? It just cuts off. It'll be running and it'll just drop out like power's gone, and then you turn the key and it starts right back up. Is that correct? Let me know if I'm right. All right.
He's like,
How's fuel prices there? $3.90 here.
that's
Oh,
good.
Jesus Christ. We're at like 560 or more. Like I have a Toyota Sienna. It costs almost $100 to fill it up with unleaded, like 87.
That's
So
about the same price right here.
my poor son has an Infiniti G37.
Has to
He's
use
20. Premium at 20. So he has to put premium in his car.
Oh, did you ever finish the other valve
Yes,
covers
sir.
on that?
Wait, hang on. Yes, sir. It just does that. Ignition switch, Federico. That's what I guess. I would just go check. You could probably just look up a wiring diagram and find the pin from the pin from the ignition switch, and you just back probe it. And when it cuts off, you'll lose power. Your power will be gone. And then when you turn the key back off, and it'll start right back up, and the power will be there. Ignition switches are common in those Hondas.
Dang, it's almost like you've worked on them before.
I worked on maybe, I don't know, 200 or 300, 1,000. I don't know, a lot. So, yeah,
Yeah, man, this week was kind of choppa. This week was kind of boring, honestly.
That sucks.
Honestly, like I told you, I literally made like 14 hours today.
Wow. My neighbor made 25 yesterday.
But that's just that was my whole week, but it's just like last week I did 45. It was busy. And it's just a bunch of little stuff. I haven't had any big jobs in a while.
Goddamn, you were loaded with like transmissions and shit, like what, just a week ago, right?
Yeah. But some of those, I think on one of them, because I had took it out like the week prior, so it took half the labor because we send out the transmissions to get rebuilt, and sometimes it takes a week, 2 weeks. So just like I don't want to sit on that forever. I was like, well, give me half of it, and then I'll get the other half whenever I finish. But yeah, this week was just dead, and I almost left early. It was like 3:00, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just leave. And then I was on my way out, and then my boss was like, because my boss has to flag too, so he's like, hey, you want these 2 cars? And he's always gonna do them, but you can have them. I was like, yeah, might as well.
Well, that's cool.
Altel 908. How much you trying to sell it for? Oh, so are you gonna get the mixing?
I did. I got it.
You got it?
Backwoods Mechanic. What's up, brother? I did. You know what? And it's a bummer because I get it, right? And it comes with a screen protector. And so it comes with a screen protector, but it has a case built into it. So you have to pop the top of the case off. So the top of the case is like this, and it's got like a ring around it like that, right? And you have to pop it off. It pops out. It's plastic, and it pops out of all these little things, whatever. And then you lay the screen protector on there. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to have my wife do this because I want it to be perfect, right? And so she does it. It's a weeknight, so she's like not very happy about doing it because, it's a weeknight. She's got to work tomorrow. And I'm like, please do it right now. Please, please, please. I'm really excited. I want it to be right. And so she does it, right? And she puts it on. It's perfect. It looks tits. I mean, it's beautiful. And then I go snap the cover on, and then the bottom, like a whole part, just peels up. Like, what the hell? And so then we're trying to like push it down. It won't go down. We peel the outer perimeter again up, right? And then we try to redo it. And then there's air bubbles everywhere. And then it's like, God damn it. And then we put the plastic thing down again, and it's peeling up in multiple spots on the edge. And I'm like really pissed, actually. I'm really bummed because like we put it on perfect. And so then I go to look for it to order a new one, and I can't find it anywhere because it's like, it's Chinese. And so I email them. I'm like, hey, I tried to put this, screen protector on, whatever. And so the guy said, "Oh, if you're in the US, here's the place to order it." So I was like, "Okay." So I ordered 2. I got it for like $20. I got 2 of them plus shipping.
So is it
So
a
we
four?
haven't put them on yet, but
It's a
and
four
then
channel.
what?
It's a 4 channel.
Yeah, it's a 4 channel. So some negative things so far is one, I never knew what a BNC was until I got this. I heard about it, but I never knew what it was. Actually, the only time it came up was when I was getting into U-Scope, and you had mentioned something about a BNC, and I had heard about it. It never really came up because it wasn't anything that affected me, and so I never really looked into it, right? And so I get the scope, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh, look at that. It comes with like 4 sets of leads. Oh, that's cool, right? And I didn't open any of them up, but I was just like, okay. So then I look at the scope and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I was like, oh, that's why I have 4 sets of leads, because it's a BNC to a red and black. And then, but now here's the kicker is if you don't have, so I bought a set of leads a long time ago, years ago, that they have a little adapter like this, so you can connect 2 sets of leads together. So have you ever had like a lead hooked up to a scope or anything, and then you need it to be longer, and so you have to shove the needle into the part that plugs into the scope to make your lead longer? Have you ever had to do that before to like get to an O2 sensor? Okay, well, I used to do a lot of like emissions testing and stuff, so I used to have to do that. Anyways, and it sucks because then the part that goes into your meter, it gets distorted because you shoved a lead right in the middle of there. And so I found a set of leads that are for adapting to another set of leads to make your, 3 or
Leads
4
extended.
lead a 6 or 8 foot lead, right? Well, it's all it is a little plastic adapter that plugs into one lead and it plugs into the other. So with these BNC connectors, I have to use those adapters to plug into the BNC to put my leads into it. So that's one negative already. And then I go and I was like, okay, perfect. Remember, I don't know if you saw this on Instagram, the Hyundai with the battery drop.
Mm-hmm.
I just had this a week or 2 ago, and I had to use the Modus that's on my side of the shop. So we have a Modus that sits on my side, on my toolbox for my side of the shop, or really for everybody. But I mean, it's for my side, and we have a Solus on the other side. So we have 2 scanners, and we have an Autel, and we have a whole bunch of factory stuff. But anyways, it was kind of a bummer because I had the Modus hooked up to this Hyundai for hours checking battery draw, and so then the Hyundai comes back with a battery draw, and I'm like, perfect. I have my mix sig, awesome. And I get it out, and I get my low amp probe, and I plug into it, and I'm like, where is the low amp setting? I'm looking all over this damn thing, and I'm like, I have no freaking idea how to hook up to this thing. So a low amp probe, if you ever use one, if you look at it, and it's an AES wave low amp probe. If you look at it, it will say 100 millivolts equals like
20 millivolts
right.
or 100
So
amps.
basically do a whole bunch of math to figure out amperage to voltage. If you use a Modus or a Vantage Pro, you go into what you're trying to select and you go low amp probe 20. You select 20 on your low amp probe. You hit 0 and the scope reads 0. You plug on a wire and it says 1 amp draw, 0.5, 0.3, 0.95. You don't have to do any math. You don't have to add that shit. It's a low amp probe. So I hook up the mix sig and I'm like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I spent like 20 minutes pushing buttons. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is retarded. So then I was like, screw this. The Modus is sitting, like I literally picked up my mix sig from next to the Modus to do it. And I'm like, screw this, dude. I don't have time for this shit, man. So I go get the Modus, hook up. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. There's the draw, So I got it. But the bummer about it is I spent like $300 more buying it without any ignition leads. Like I have nothing. I have 4 BNC leads that go to a lead where I have to have an adapter to hook up my leads. So kind of I'm right now.
Should wait for the scope.
I'm kind of like I almost feel like I wish I hadn't have bought it.
Dang. See, I feel like
I don't do a lot of scope testing.
I just used my scope today for a blower motor. This guy took it to another shop. Wanted to charge him like $1,000. They told him it was a blower motor and blower resistor. $1,000 for parts and labor for a blower motor.
I don't know dollar amounts.
Oh.
I don't ever see dollar amounts or tickets or I see hours. That's all I see.
I see everything.
There's not even any dollar amounts that come through on my end.
No?
I literally get a work order that tells me how many hours I'm getting paid.
And that's it.
That's all.
Okay, let's
look at this for this many hours. Tell us what's wrong. Okay. All right. Here's how many hours you're getting paid to fix it. Broke down. That's it.
Well, I mean, you don't have all data. You don't use Metro One.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't look up shit. I don't look up dollar amounts.
Oh, so like when you look up like, okay. Anyways, parts is like $400. Labor is like an hour and a half. So you're looking like $400 or $500.
Well, wait, hang on. What kind of? But $400 for the blower motor. Where is the blower motor from?
Hyundai.
Oh,
OEM.
Okay.
OEM.
Okay,
OEM only, baby. Come on, you know this.
Was it a resistor also, or just a blower?
OEM. No, for both, it's like $400. I think the resistor was like 45, and the blower motor was like 260, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I was using the U scope today to test it. I was checking current on the blower motor. That's usually what most I've been using it for a lot lately is on the blower motor. Checking it out for no ACs. I've been seeing those a lot lately. But I use the low amp clamp, and then I'll send you some videos so you can check it out. But
see, that's
handy.
That's the part where I have trouble. I guess being a flat rate guy, like, man, I use a damn power probe. And
so look, let me. If you hooked up a power probe to, because that's what I did. I was like, let me make sure I'm getting my power. Okay, I got it. I used my scancel. I had the command. I'm getting power here, right? I manually use my power probe. Blower motor turns on, but it wasn't enough amperage. It wasn't working hard enough to be blowing air through the system. Put in the new blower motor. Starts blowing like crazy, and you can see the difference on the current with the amp clamp.
Hang on, but so you knew by feeling at the vent that there wasn't enough airflow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I get what you're doing, and I get what you're saying, and I love watching the Diag guys when they get scopes and they hook stuff up, and I'm like, damn, that's badass.
Well, you don't feel nothing, but like I turned it on and I was like, okay, so it turns on, but why am I not? Because I was already about to go, maybe a door's not working or something.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can hear it turning on.
I got to figure it out. I mean, like I said, see, the problem is I get stuck at work sometimes where I don't have time to go and play around with things. Like sometimes I don't even have time to like film stuff for Instagram or YouTube. Like I just have to get stuff rolling, and because I mean, so
it's definitely very true. If we're saying like being a flat rate tech, you don't have time to learn how to use your new tools. You get what I'm saying? Like using the scope, like me right now, like I practice outside of work. Check my card, playing with it just so I can get good at it because I don't have time, or there's been times where I'm wasting a lot of time, but I'm watching videos. Okay, how can I test this with my scope? How can I test this?
With the mix sig, the hardest thing about a scope is, and the reason I've never messed with scopes much is because if you don't know how to set up a scope, then you can't use a scope.
So yeah, if you don't know how to use it, you can't use it.
I hooked it up and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like I had a big fat like waveform like this big. I'm like, I'm not even hooked up to anything. I'm trying to check amperage. I'm like, dude, I don't even understand what the hell's going on. Like, how the hell? And then my neighbor, like a guy who's a few doors down, he was a Nissan Master Tech for like 30 years.
Damn.
And he has like every power probe that they've made. He has like, I mean, he has like his own Modus and Autels. And I mean, he has every time I see him, he has a different electronic testing tool. And I'm like, where the hell did you get that? He's like, I've had this for years. I'm like, God damn, you have more. Damn. Anyways, so he's the one that suggested the mixing to me. When I went in, whenever I went in, I said, Danny, I said, look, man, I ordered that U scope, and I don't know, I'm just not feeling like one channel is going to work. And see, I've always used the Vantage Pro and the Modus, and so it's always been. I guess it's a good thing. It's a bad thing that I learned how to use the Vantage Pro and the Modus, because it's all set up to test whatever you want to test. So if you're trying to test whatever, you're in the vehicle, you hit, signature waveform, go to test, shows you what it should look like. It's already set up the scope for you. All you have to do is hook up to it.
Very user friendly.
I've never had to go and, like I'm not even kidding. Like my service manager, when I told him what I bought, he's like, man, you should have just saved up and bought a Vantage Pro. I was like, this was already a lot more than I was planning on spending. And a Vantage Pro is double that. So actually, no, a Vantage Pro is like triple that.
Like Vantage Pro, like the older one? The older one?
No, Vantage Pro is the newer one.
Oh,
they're like $2,500.
Damn.
Yeah, but I mean, you're paying for but you're only getting I believe you can only have a 2-channel scope on a Vantage Pro. I don't think it could be a 4-channel scope.
See, I'll agree with that. So I had a 2014 Impala, not Impala, Malibu. I don't know, it was a 2.5, right? I had a P017. I needed, without tearing into the engine, I could have used a 2-channel scope to see if my cam and crank were in sync timing. I only have a 1-channel scope, so I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the it has its perks. You can use it in a lot of scenarios, but there's a lot more times where you need minimum 2 to 4 channels if you're going to be using.
What kind of vehicle was it?
It was a Chevy Malibu with a 2.5.
Didn't it have cam and crank in the scan tool?
It had some data. It had like cam variation and.
Okay. You couldn't look at what the computer was putting out. I guess not.
No, not really. I don't know. It was really weird, and there wasn't that much information I could find on it. With that code, I even asked my Chevy buddy. He's like, I've never seen that code, and so I'm doing research. I think either the camshaft, because I was talking to Eric. I don't know if you know Eric from Rising Edge Diagnostics.
Yeah,
fucking genius. Love that guy.
I never talked to him, but I follow his stuff.
Talk to him. Good guy. Knows his stuff. Well, anyways, he was telling me, he's like, make sure the cam phasers locking into was being locked, was staying locked, and wasn't moving. But I mean, of course, you got to move a valve cover and all that. And the thing was, is this code was setting right away. So I was like, So, and the only thing I could find on operation was the VVT solenoids are what worked for the phasers, the actuators, the actual camshaft actuators. So I was like, let me go check these solenoids real quick. First thing I see is they're brand new and they're fucking Dormans. So I was like, okay, well, I can't have Dormans on these. So I told...
You just figured out the problem right there.
That's what I thought. So when I was off on Tuesday, my boss actually put on the GM ones, and he said the codes kept coming back. Like right away. So I was like, well, I never got to finish checking or anything like that. But that was one of the things where like I need GM. I can't trust these Dormans to do their job,
especially when it's a known failing product, anyways.
Yeah, so it's just like I need the original one. But obviously, I'm pretty sure something was the timing had to been off.
Right.
But I think if I would have had a 2-channel scope, I probably would have been able to see that.
Yeah, you know what? I follow, like, I wish, like, man, Cody's Auto Diagnostics and Kyle, and Rising Edge Diagnostic. Man, I watch all their stuff, and I've watched Rising Edge Diagnostics do all kinds of stuff and be like, cool. And in my eyes, I'm like, okay, cool. It's got to be that fuel pump. And he's like, all right. So what I did was I went ahead and broke the wiring down, and I got a bunch of resistors, and I made all this, and I did all this, and I did all this to make the computer think that it was doing this, and then it needs a fuel pump. And I'm like, I knew it needed a fuel pump before you did all of that. Like, I just watch. I don't know how people have the time to do all of that. Like, all of those extra steps. Like, now some stuff that they do, like where they hook up scopes and look at things, I'm like, man, I wish I had that. I mean, I've always wondered what it would look like to watch people that. So I've been in classes before, right? And I've been where this guy Dean from it's an automotive training, ATG. They travel the world. Anyways, so there's a guy from Southern California named Dean, and this guy would teach the classes. And when he taught the classes, you listened and you learned something, and they were good. And he knew his shit. And when you listened to him talk about anything, you were like, damn, that dude knows his shit. I don't care what you ask him about, he knows it. And he was one of those people where if you listen to him, you're like, this dude could sit behind the steering wheel and diagnose a car with a scanner, right? I've always seen those people that always seemed like that. But I've never actually seen someone in person that really could do it without spending 6, 7, 8 hours hooking up a ton of equipment to a car. And that has always been something now there are some problems that, like it's been to 7 shops and no one can figure it out. And, it takes when Scanner Banner goes out to shops, and it's been to every shop and they've put every part in the book in it. And, those type, I'm not talking about those kind of problems, but I've always been intrigued because I've always been a flat rate guy they needed work to be done to get out the door. And I didn't have time to sit there and spend hours and hours diagnosing something. And so I had to do what I had to do to shortcut and quick test and, and not use scopes mostly. And I don't know. It's just a weird, it's just a different, I don't know. I feel like I went all over the place and I never really said what I was trying to say.
No, I get what you mean. Cause I mean, like I feel like you're like the same with my boss. Like, sometimes like he'll be like, oh, it needs a fuel pump. Or, like just examples like, okay, he did this. It was an F-150 or something like that. And it really, I think the reason these guys do this is so they don't get bit in the ass. It's just covering your ass. And right, he's like, needs a fuel pump. Changes the fuel pump, whatever. After he's done doing it, it's doing the same thing. It's not starting. Crank, no start. Crank, no start. It'll start up or whatever. No, it wasn't a crank, no start. It would start and then shut off. And I had asked him how he knew it was a fuel pump from the beginning. He's like, I've seen this before. It's a fuel pump. It's doing this, this, and this. So I was like, okay. Well, that doesn't fucking tell me how you know. Like, explain to me how.
He didn't test anything. He just did it because it was happened before.
Yeah, like he'd seen it before, right? And what happened was there was a short in one of the wires.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the main reasons these guys like do it, just so like they want to be 100% sure. And like with me, like
in that case, I actually would have used a power probe, and when it shut off, I would have seen that there was a problem. Like I don't ever in a case like that, I would have been testing it and been able to see that there was no power when it shut off. I wouldn't have just been like, oh, it shut off and needs a fuel pump. Like, I actually do test things. I just don't. I've never been into current ramping. I always wanted to. I always wish I understood it more and could do it more. And that's actually why I bought the scope. I don't think it's going to work out like I was hoping, but just looking at the
need some
scope,
better
I
lead.
just don't.
There's a
I
guy,
don't
Super
know.
Mario Diagnostics. That's how I found out about that.
I watched a bunch of his videos before I bought it.
Oh, okay. So you watched that 45-minute one where he explains how to use everything, like to zoom
Yeah,
in.
and then I bought I watched a video. The first one I watched, he had just got it. He unboxed it, and he's like, "Just so you guys know, if you're new to the channel, I used this scope for years, like at least 3 years." He's like, "Until I bought my Pico," and then Mixig sent me this scope to review, and so I'm unboxing it now. And he's like, "Oh, this is a little bit different than the one I had. This is a little bit different than the one I had. Oh, this is a little bit better." Like I watched this whole video where he went through the whole thing.
We watched the same one.
Uh,
I know what you're talking about.
but and then I watched another one where he did what was he testing? He was testing something, I forgot, relative compression or something. And he used like 5 different scopes. He used the Mixig, the Autel, the Pico. He used all these different scopes. Hang on, let me go through this chat real quick. Make sure I don't.
Yeah, that's what I was applying right now.
I don't think we have a ton of chat. We don't have a lot of people here.
That's cool.
Let's see. Okay, anybody wanting a Autel 908S Pro Scan? Backwoods, I think we already said hi to you, my friend. He's got the whole shebang. Did you see the deal that that JD Tico had though?
No.
For like, man, it was like $1,700. It was like an Autel. It was a big Autel, a small Autel, a Milwaukee, like some sort of power tool with a battery. Like when you added up the dollar amounts, it was like, I was like, man, maybe I should get a scanner. Like, it was a really good deal. They had it for a little while. It was like $1,700, I think. Like, I can't remember everything it was, but
no, I really don't.
Our best offer, everyone, for Renegade's Garage.
It's not a bad
I don't
deal.
know how you guys have more viewers on here. Y'all better than. Oh, thanks, Federico. We appreciate it. You know, we can't compete with the YouTube people. We're talking about real mechanic stuff here. No, they think everybody talks about real mechanic stuff, but let me just go through here. I don't want to.
No, you're fine.
I think last time you and I got off on a rant, and then I was like, "Holy crap!" There was like a ton of comments. Forget Pine. So I don't know about Pine, but South
Pine Hollow.
I do know his videos. I don't watch a lot of them because a lot of his videos are just like I don't watch a lot of his videos, but he's very popular. South Main Auto can put out a video and in 2 hours have 37,000 views.
He's been around for a long time though.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that like when you're on YouTube and you look at channels and you're like, damn, man, these guys have hella views. This is crazy. And then, but if you go back in their channel and you look and you're like, oh, their first video was 14 years ago. And you're like, oh, my first video was like
2 years ago. Uh-oh, cut out. Am I still alive? Let's see. Tony is gone.
Did I lose you guys?
I think you did. Tools and gadgets. Oh, that's Diesel Soldier. Hey, you were just taking a class on some scopes. I seen you practicing doing CAN bus. See, that's where scopes really come in handy for Tyrone here, Diesel Soldier.
Wait, hang on. What does it say? Tools and gadgets. Is that
I think that's his logo, right?
Is that a new name now? Tools and gadgets?
Maybe that's his.
What is that? What is that, Tyrone? That's different. I saw tools and gadgets in the chat, but I didn't notice the logo until you said that, and I looked up on the screen. I was like, "Oh wait, that's Tyrone." So what is Pine?
Pine Hollow Diagnostics. I've watched a lot of his videos. He's one of those that gets called for like like what you're explaining, like when shops have thrown everything at it and they can't figure it out.
Oh,
He's one of those. He does he's mobile.
oh,
And
okay.
he'll do drives and
Like Scanner
everything.
Danner.
Kind of, yeah. Um,
And Cody's too. Cody does that too.
Cody does, yeah. I really I watch Pine Hollow a lot recently. Some of the stuff
I've
that
never
he
even heard
posts
of him.
are very very interesting. I like South Main Auto. South Main Auto, I feel like is the people's mechanic, if you will. Um, I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. That's it.
Yeah, Pine Hollow Auto. Yeah,
I've never heard of that ever.
Ivan. I think his name's Ivan. Ivan or Even, something like that.
Oh,
Evan.
okay. Huh, I'll
He
check
has
him
some
out.
good videos. He has very. There was one he was looking
Well,
for.
there it is right here.
Yeah, that's him. There's
If you're
one where he's
not
doing on.
for all of our viewers, if you don't know who it is,
He's
I
doing a
don't know how to put
Lincoln.
that on the screen, but there it is. I put it on the screen.
You gotta watch it. There's a video. It's very long, but there's a video where he does about a Lincoln where he's trying to find a parasitic draw, and it takes like I think it takes like hours
What is
to
it?
find
The
it.
air suspension?
No, what was it? It was one of the modules. Like he narrowed it down, but because he thought it was gonna be like a quick one, because I think it had came from the dealer, and the dealers couldn't figure it out. And it's like a brand new Lincoln. It's like a 2020 or something like that, 2021.
Oh
2020.
wow!
So it's a brand new Lincoln. I'll find the video and I'll send it to you. I haven't finished it, but because they're long. It's like I think it's like a 3-part, and they're like 40 minutes each.
Wow.
But I like these
You
kind of
grab it here.
videos.
I'll be right back.
Go
Yeah,
for
right.
it.
2 seconds.
Is Tyrone still in the chat? I'm still learning how to scope. I'm a straight up novice, but the best place to learn how to scope, well, depending what you want to learn. If you want to learn ignition, there's Jim Morton, TST seminars. It's like a 2.5 hour webinar. Watch it. Watch 30 minutes at a time, and you'll really, really learn a lot about primary and secondary ignition. And then Scanner Danner, sign up for his premium. It's like $11.
I did that a long time ago, and I got like the book and all that. You know what? Honestly, here's the thing. I am 46 years old.
Very young.
Now that I have a YouTube channel, I have a few people that I support, like no matter what, that I watch everything they put out always. And between that and my channel and trying to just navigate life with my children and my home and my wife, I don't have time. I rarely have time. Like when South Main Auto has a video, I rarely watch it unless it's something that I'm interested in. Because I mean, honestly, a lot of the stuff that people put out, I've dealt with in the shop. I've already had, and I mean, I just really don't have a lot of time to go. Like I do try to watch, stuff, but I don't really have a ton of time. So back when I was early wrenching 20 years ago, I had a lot of time and I watched a lot more. I watched a lot more video. I spent a lot more time training and, stuff like that then when I didn't have, kids and.
Yeah, definitely. When you got your life, man, it's very hard to find time, especially to watch a 30, 40-minute video at that.
Right.
Let alone a 10-minute video. But no, like Pine Auto, South Main Auto, Scanner. I like watching those videos because they walk you through their whole diet process. Like you're watching them as they're trying to figure it out.
Right.
So, for me, it's good for me because I mean,
watch like Scanner Danner, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Like for me, because like I'm barely getting into engine performance and diagnosing driver. Yeah, like real diag. My boss didn't teach me how to read fuel trims. You know what I mean? Like he taught me how to do swapanostics. You know what I mean? But you get it. Like he's not teaching me how to find a bad mass airflow, drivability problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
That stuff I'm learning from YouTube. That stuff I'm learning from Scanner Danner. It's stuff I'm learning from other guys like you, Eric, and Dennis, and a bunch of other guys on Instagram. Just from seeing y'all's posts, like, oh, this is the die I had. This is the problems. Like Eric, he had a HHR that had no communication and stuff. I had the exact same car with almost pretty much the exact same problem, different module, but exact same problem that he was dealing with. So I was able to read his posts and see what he was looking at in his diagnostic procedure, and use that as my aid and to figure out my problem.
So what did you end up doing? You looked at the draw. Did you have a draw or something, or
No, there was it was a crank no
oh,
start.
you said no communication.
Yeah, I was getting no communication with any of my modules,
So you start
and
unplugging modules.
started unplugging modules to see what I could would come back or anything. And I finally came. It was a VCM. It was something way in the back. I had to pull off a bunch of panels to get to that module, and someone had already placed it. It was an LG module. It wasn't a GM. So I was like, "What's this?" It's weird. And whatever. I don't know what I did. I was checking. I unplugged it, and then I went and scanned. And I had communication again with certain modules. Like, okay, that has to be my problem. So I was like, well, let me go on a test drive. Let me see if it starts up. So I plug everything back in. Car turns on, and then I had it for like a week. Could never duplicate the problem again. So I was like, well, I touched something that fixed the problem. You know what I mean? So couldn't sell them nothing. Just got
You want
paid
to learn
for.
something about? You want me to tell you something about? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you?
Cut out again.
Am I cutting out again?
Yeah.
All right. So when you deal with CAN and no communication, am I still cutting out? Okay, I can see that. Okay. So when you're dealing with CAN and networks and things like that, there are different kinds of CAN systems. Did you know that?
The high and low?
No.
Is that what you mean?
No. So you can have a CAN system that's in a circle. Okay. And every module is in this circle. So if one module goes out, the whole CAN goes down. The whole network goes down.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there is a network where it's like in a circle. There's a network called a network. Auto diagnostic, just where he had I've never. Am I back?
I think so.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry about that.
I can hear you, but you're blurred.
So Cody's Auto Diagnostic just had a TikTok like about a week ago. And he had a bad bus bar. And I'd never actually seen a bus bar before. It was the first time I'd ever seen one because I've never had to deal with it.
Damn it. Yeah.
Man, sorry, guys.
You're good.
So anyways, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right. So anytime you have a CAN system with no network communication, you have to figure out what kind of network you have and what modules are on. So anyways, that's all I was trying to say. It took a long time to try to say.
One module goes out, it would read 120 ohms on the backbone. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like if one module runs, like if you have all these modules running off one line, if one goes out, it will cut off all the other ones.
Yeah,
right.
It depends on. Well, no, it depends on what kind of CAN system it is. You have to understand the CAN system, and if the module, if you have a high and a low modules, I'm cutting out again.
Yeah.
This is all bad, dude.
You gotta stop saying Cam. Maybe just change the subject. We'll talk about it on the phone sometime.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. But you can check it with by checking the DLC, and you can check ohms. That's what Tyrone's talking about right here.
Okay, yeah, see, I know about that. Like
Uh,
if it reads back, then you know you're
so I had a video of a while back where I did a Nissan. I had a Nissan no start, a Nissan Frontier no start, and the no start was because of the transmission. And actually, no, let me rephrase that. The no start was because of the radiator. The radiator cooler went bad. The transmission cooler and the radiator went bad, which caused coolant. Am I cutting out again?
no.
Okay. It would cause coolant to go back into the transmission, short out the transmission control module inside the transmission. And so the transmission control module would short out and it would drop the CAN system. So the network would drop out. It was actually blowing fuses. You would replace the fuse, and as soon as you started the vehicle, it would blow the fuse. It would have no communication. And in my video, I actually showed. Am I still? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just
Okay.
watching. I'm watching you. Sorry.
In my video, I actually show the ohm reading of the DLC, and you can see that there's a CAN problem by the ohm reading. And I run over there underneath the truck and I unplug the transmission module, and then you see the resistance come back to the network because the transmission module is disconnected now. Now the truck won't start because the transmission's disconnected, and that's where the starter signal goes through. So it goes from the ignition switch into the transmission. It has to be in Parker neutral. If it is, it'll transfer back through to the starter. So it wouldn't start with it disconnected, but you could see in the video. So if you ever have time, go back and look at just the DLC portion of testing that, and you'll see the ohm reading, and you'll see how it's not good. And then when I disconnected it, it's good now. So, anyways, just
So
a way.
it's like if it's like under 120, that means there's a short, right?
Yeah, because there's 260 ohm resistors in the CAN system. So not necessarily a short, but a problem.
I know Don explained that to me from Spot On Diagnostics. I don't know if you follow him. He explained it to me when I was actually dealing with that HHR.
Okay.
But it was until after the fact. But I was like, oh, okay.
So anytime you have a network problem, the first thing that you want to do is ohm your CAN through the DLC, and that should be your starting point. You always want to see what your ohm reading is, because that's how because you have 260 ohm terminating resistors, and you have to make sure that the resistance is good through the CAN system, and then you can go further with your scope, and you can go and you can scope the high and the low. I've never done that before, but you can do that. I've been fortunate. I've never had those crazy diag problems that, some people have.
I feel like those end up like more like on like cars with a bunch of modules, like, or a bunch of like BMWs, European stuff, or like, just vehicles with a bunch of modules for this. Everything's electronic. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was something, I think, do you know Miguel Cortez? He's a Land Rover tech. Okay, well, he's a Land Rover tech, and
I don't want to know anything about Land Rovers. I'm just kidding.
So a turn signal wouldn't work, right? And he had posted about it. It was just a story, and he literally had the seats out and the carpet removed, and he found a wire. He's like, "This is why my turn signals aren't working." But it's just like, and it was and it even had to, I don't know, like I think it was like a radio wire or something like that. I can't remember exactly what, but I was like, what? Like, what does that have to do with the?
Wow.
I don't know.
Well,
it's just
you can pretty much say nowadays just about every system is tied into each other nowadays in most newer cars. Like, it's great that you're learning what you're learning right now, because your future is going to be electronic testing and scopes and things like that, because like I said, in most of my career, it was in 90s Hondas and, a lot of emissions and, things like that. But then as you get into these newer vehicles, the ones that are coming down the line, where like I was in we had a Lexus F Sport the other day. You ever had one of those? You ever seen one of those?
I know what you're talking about. I've never worked on
Okay.
one.
So I never really knew anything about it, except for that we had one that we had been doing a lot of brakes on, because we kept doing brakes and it kept making noise. And then I finally got it to replace calipers. And so I'm driving this car, and every time I put the car in reverse, when I'm out in the sun, it has an automatic shade in the back window that would go up. It would come down. And then as soon as I put it in gear and start to drive, the shade would go back up. And as soon as I put it in reverse again, the shade would drop back down. But if I was in the shop, it would stay down because the sun wasn't shining on the window. Just crazy, man. Like the electronics now is just nuts.
Or like the windshield wipers that detect rain now. Like if it gets wet, they'll turn on.
Oh yeah, the first time I ever experienced one of those, I was in a Sequoia. I had just done a timing belt, and I'm sitting in a car wash line waiting to wash the car because we used to have to drive. We had a quick quack attached to our building, and so we had to drive the cars through the quick quack when we got done. I'm in the car wash line. As soon as I go in the car wash and the water hits the windshield, the wipers start going. I'm like, oh shit! I'm trying to turn them off. I'm like, oh god, I don't want to break the wiper arms. I got it off, thank God, but I didn't know it was like auto. I didn't even know it had it. And then another time I was like washing the window with like window cleaner. And as soon as I sprayed it was like whap, whap, whap. I was like, oh shit. And it was like right over and about to start wiping the window,
That's crazy. Yeah. No, yeah, so
good night, Renegade Garage.
What about like key program? Do you program keys?
No.
Nope.
No, we have a locksmith that will come out, a mobile guy. And then see, we have, I don't know if you guys have this out there, but there's a thing called, hang on, TR. So if you go into the European cars, Mercedes, I think, Mercedes or BMW, Mercedes, I think. It's called TR something. Anyways, it's a theft. There's certain things on the vehicle that you can't replace because it's a theft related component. TRC maybe, like a key, an ignition switch. There's like certain things in like I think it's a Mercedes, and you cannot replace it. You can't buy the part. How about that? Because it's a theft problem. It's kind of like in Gone in 60 Seconds where they could just go buy a key for the car. It's that type of thing. You cannot do it. You can't buy it. You have to be in California. You have to have a special license, and you have to. Let's put it this way: you could never have ever been convicted of a felony ever in your life. You have background checked all the time to have this license to be able to do this type of work. And so, I don't know. We just have a lot of laws in California and stuff, but no, we don't. We don't get keys or. I mean, we're getting more into like we have a Chrysler Fiat factory scan tool. We have IDS for the Fords, and we are about to have a Toyota factory scan tool. So our general manager came in and was like, our new general manager, I work for a shop, and we opened up another shop shortly after I started working for this company. They bought another shop, and the service manager at our current shop, he went to go run that store. And so our service manager that came in, he's really, really knowledgeable. And he came in and was like, all right, cool. So we're going to get a factory scan tools. And so now we have the Chrysler factory scan tool, which is really cool because when you plug up to a car, you hit topology and a map pops up and it shows every single module on the car. and it shows you in that topology. It shows you if there's a code in every module. Let's say if there's a code, if there's an update available, and if there's an emissions, if the update is important. Like I forgot what the relevance is. There's a update where it should be done, and there's an update where it needs to be done. And it shows you all of that by looking at this map of all. It's like what you see in a class when you're like, oh, here's all the modules all around this thing. You can go in there and look up all the service. No, that's not the right word. All the recalls. You can look up every recall in the vehicle that's ever been issued and see if it's been done or not. Like I had a truck that came in, and we did so I had an eco diesel come in. And 4 months prior to me getting it, it came in with a service the DPF. It needed a regen. And so the tech did a regen on it. Cool, out the door it went. And then 4 or 5, maybe 6 months later, it's back for a regen again. With same light, same code, same everything. Okay, well, that's hella weird. Why does it need a regen again? This short a time in a vehicle, it's not very old. It should not need a regen. Usually, if a vehicle needs a regen and you have to manually regen it, the customer is not listening to the car when it's telling it what to do, or there's a problem, right? So that's how you want to look at it. And so I look it up in the Fiat scan tool, and then sure enough, right there in recalls, 3 EGR related recalls that have not been done, where they pretty much replaced the entire cooler. And they're like, oh, the cooler leaks kind of intermittently. And so it would leak into the DPF and, all this other stuff. And so I was like, hey, I'll do a regen today, but you need to go get this stuff taken care of. It's free. You just need to go to the dealer. So, but I mean, it's cool.
That's
because
pretty cool.
See that it's been done.
That's very cool. Because
yeah, I've never experienced that. So,
and that's only on the Chrysler one.
Chrysler and Fiat. So that's all we have right now. And the IDS is not that friendly. The IDS does not work like that. You have to go into every single module, and you have to go in and you have to click programmable modules, and you have to ask it. You have to go in and say, I want to update, and it will say an update is available, or all the software is up to date.
Up to date.
And it's a pain in the ass sometimes to do it. To go into every module, it takes a while to go through all the modules in the IDS.
And it's very slow.
Yeah, it's very slow. So, and I just saw the other day, man, I forgot who it was. Somebody I follow on Instagram. It was a newer Ford. It was called something else. I forgot what it's called, FMR or something like that. And it's the new Ford scan tool for the newer vehicles.
Oh, for 22 or newer?
I don't know what year, but I think it was called FMR. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, it was like a new vehicle. So
you're not gonna get that. Probably not.
No, not right now. Nah. So I'm happy with the IDS. Having the IDS and not putting Dorman parts in cars, I'm happy.
Do you have a GM one?
You're gonna be happy. What'd you say?
You have a GM one, a global?
I think we just got a GM one, but we don't have a Tech 2. So we have like the newer GM laptop. I think we do. I'm pretty sure they were like loading it. We don't work on we work on GM cars. We don't work on I don't work on very many Duramaxes. So
I hardly work on Duramaxes.
You what?
I hardly work on them.
Yeah, I don't either. I think that people that have Duramaxes work on them themselves, or they go to Duramax shops. Because there's not as many Duramaxes as there are like Power Strokes. Or I bet there's more Cummins and Power Strokes on the road than Duramaxes, but I know there's more Power Strokes than anything.
Yeah,
I know Power Strokes. They rule. They have way more than everything. I guarantee it. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Every time I work on one, dude, they're a pain in the ass.
What, the
The
Duramaxes?
the Duramaxes, yeah.
Yeah, I hate them, dude. Their system is stupid. And here's
Southwest
my old
Florida.
service writer right here. When I
Oh,
first
nice.
started in the industry, so check this out. So I worked at a shop all the way through school. And when I got done with school, I got my smog license. I was ready to go into the world, right? And I worked at a shop all the way through school. And he would give me raises every time I would finish a class. He would give me a raise because I knew a little bit more. And then I wanted to move to a bigger city. I lived in Benicia. I lived out in Benicia, California, and I wanted to move to a bigger city, but not San Francisco. And so I set my sights on Sacramento, and I found a shop in Sacramento, and the guy wanted me to come on as a flat rate tech, and I was like hella nervous because I was an hourly guy and I was fresh out of school, and I told him in the interview, I have a ton of knowledge, but I don't know how to use it. That's exactly what I told him. I was very honest. I learned a lot in school, but I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to apply it, and they let me come on. And this was the service writer right here. Well, he doesn't. That's actually a special picture right there, but it was a long time ago. But yeah, so he was my service writer. He
That's
just
cool.
he just messaged me the other day on Instagram not that long ago. But yeah, I worked there for 6 or 7 years.
Until you went to your last shop.
No, no, no. I worked at that shop for 6 or 7 years, and then I went to work at Caniso's, where I was the shop foreman, and I worked there for 7 years. And then I went to another. Then that's where I played musical chairs. I went to one shop, and I worked for like 8 months, and then I went to another shop for like 4 days, and then I went to where I am now. Well, so I left the one shop, right? Well, the one shop for 8 months, I left there, and I was looking for a shop, and I interviewed with the shop I'm at right now, and I was like, okay, all right, and I went there, and I went to go walk around the shop, and I was like, holy crap, that's a big ass shop. Like, there's like 7 technicians, there's like 3 service writers, like it's like a dealership. I don't even know what the hell. This is crazy. I don't even know. And I was hella nervous. And I was like, I'm not sure. I have a lot of tools. It takes a long time to roll that crap in there, just to like roll it out. And I didn't know, I never worked anywhere with that many people. And I was about to take the job. And my Snap on guy, he called me on like a Saturday morning. He's like, hey, man, are you still looking for a job? I was like, yeah, kind of. And he's like, okay, I got a guy downtown Sacramento. He wants to meet you. And I was like, okay. And so I call him and I interview with him and I meet him and I go down there and I'm like, okay, it's like 2 other guys, one service writer and a manager. Like, it was a quaint little place downtown with a big lot. I was like, man, it just felt really like homely. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like they grabbed me and they just gave me a hug, right? And it was weird because my wife didn't go there or anything. She did not feel the same way. She was like, I don't know why you're taking that job. She's like, the other one seemed way more stable. And I was like, I don't know, honey. It just seemed right. Something seemed right. She's probably listening right now going, I told you. And I went to go work at the other little shop downtown. And I went in, I worked there like, I don't know, I think 4 days. And it just didn't feel, it felt weird. And on Thursday morning, I go in. No, it might have even been, you know what? No, it was Friday. I worked the whole week. On Friday morning, I get a thing and they're like, okay, hey, such and such over there, he sold some inner tie rods. Go do inner tie rods on this truck. I was like, okay. I walk over and I look up the bellows boots and the bellows boots are covered in power steering fluid. And I'm like, why the hell are we doing inner tie rods on a rack that's leaking? I'm like, whatever. I'm just an employee. And so I pull the boot back, and a big ass thing of power steering fluid just goes doop, and I mean hit the floor. I mean big splatter. And I was like, hey, this thing needs a rack. And they're like, okay, well here, do this check engine light on a Jeep. I was like, all right. So I'm over there doing the check engine light on this like 2001 Jeep that was just a fuel cap. And I see the shop foreman. I see the shop foreman rolling a rack across the shop, and I'm like, "Oh, are they doing the rack?" They're like, "Yeah, they got me putting the rack in." I'm like, "Wait, what the hell? What you're putting the rack in?" I recommended it. What the hell's going on here? And I was like, "I'm done." And I got off work and I called the other shop where I work now, and I said, "Hey, does that offer still stand?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm going to take it." He's like, "When do you want to start?" I was like, "Monday." "Can you still move my tools?" He's like, "Yeah." "When do you want it?" I said, "Monday." He said, "Okay." I said,
Dang, they
"I'll be
moved your
ready
tools
about
for
that."
you?
Yeah. Yeah. When you get, I guess, further in your career of diagnostics and certifications and experience, that's kind of one of the good negotiations you have is they just move your tools. So, and at that time I had 3 toolboxes when I went there. So I sold one, but I had 3 toolboxes. So, but yeah. So then, yeah. So I was like, all right, Monday. Yeah. He's like, you call me. You let me know when you're ready to move them, and I'll have the truck there. I was like, okay. And I was like, so here I am. I've been there for over a year now, but
Has it been a year already?
it's been over a year. Yeah, I celebrated my 1 year. Like, uh, it's been months past a year.
Oh.
I think I started last year. I think I started
'Cause I
around
remember you
Christmas.
starting. I remember you starting this shop.
Yeah,
Because
I think it was around Christmas time, I think. So it's been over a year.
oh
So,
wow, you like
yeah.
this shop?
Yeah, I like it. It's a big shop. It's good. They take care of you. They buy tools. Like, it's just
Y'all stay busy.
yeah, well, we stay hella busy. I
That's
mean,
what I
right,
didn't know. I didn't know the secret on that, man.
we have a lot of techs, so it's kind of crazy because like right now, like on Friday, everybody went home early. There was only a couple people there. And I'm sitting on like 50 hours of work. You know what I mean? I have 52, no, 32, 28. I have like 55 hours in engine jobs that I'm in right now, plus a 15-hour Cummins. And I just looked at a 7.3 this morning that needs a transmission. So, I mean, I have work coming out
Work
of my
from-
ears, but like everybody else doesn't have work. It just it's weird. It's just like anything, it builds all up, everybody's hella busy, and then it kind of fizzles out, and then,
But
so
it's also because you're the one that does diesels.
yeah, but I mean, but all that work I have, only one job is diesel. The other are all gasoline jobs.
Everyone else does heavy line.
Uh, a lot of people do engines and stuff, but not diesels. It just so happened that like the 6.2 I'm doing the engine on, it was like it's a really good account. Like they jump the line from anybody that's in there. So if they bring
Uh,
their truck in, you guys are hella busy, but like we're looking at it right now. Like I was like, hey, I need you to stop that engine and look at this check engine light right now. I was like, okay. So I pull it in. It's a big, giant, long bed wash truck. It's got pressure washing crap all over it. It's hella long. And I pull it in. It's got a dead miss. I do a relative
oh,
quick
okay. I
test.
remember. I remember that
Yeah,
one.
the broken valve spring. And so I literally I put the notes in, I walk up to the counter, and I say, hey, man, it's most likely got a broken valve spring. Notes are in. Here's the paperwork. I walk back out there, and just about before I even get to my toolbox, he comes back out and he goes, hey, man, I don't know what kind of pull this guy has, but here you go. Here's your 3.5 hours. Pull the valve covers and tell me if it's a broken valve spring. I was like, okay, holy crap. So I pulled the valve cover, find the broken valve spring. I'm about to write it up for valve springs because I've never seen this problem like this before. And my service manager, who has way more long experience, he comes over and he goes, well, let's do a leak down on it because like I know the valve spring's broken, but the valve and the valve seat should still work. And so we see that the intake valves closed, right? So we put a leak down tester on there. It's got 100% leakage. So we take a pry bar and we pry up on the valve, and the leakage doesn't change at all. And he's like, oh, this valve dropped. This valve dropped, hit a piston, must have bent the valve. Now it's not sealing in the head. Oh, okay. All right. It needs a motor, not a valve spring. So, I didn't know. I mean, your experience is only, your knowledge is only based on your experience. I mean, you could read a million books, but until you actually see it and experience it, like you're not gonna, it's not gonna be something that you're gonna know. That's
Yeah,
why that's why networking is important, because no matter how much you know, and no matter how much you think no matter how much experience you have, you're always going to come across something that you don't know, something you've never seen before, something you don't understand, something that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's the amazing thing about these times with Instagram and YouTube and everything else now, is now there are all of these awesome people that help and drop advice, and sometimes even even comment on things that you might post something and somebody might drop a comment like, hey man, make sure you check that, or I see those all the time, or you know what I mean.
yeah. That's funny
um
that you mentioned that because like 2 weeks ago I had an F-150 and it would shut off. Had
I remember
um
that.
um lack of power and stuff like that, and I could hear. I was like, man, this thing sounds like it's got a vacuum leak.
Right.
And I spent like almost over an hour. Like I'm trying to look at the fuel trims. I'm trying to like I was like, where's this vacuum leak? Like I can't find it. And um I was like, well, no, I'll do a smoke test. So I was like, let me see like what would be the best way to smoke test this thing. And so I look it up, and then right away, and there was no information on these codes either that I had that I was throwing. I don't remember the codes. Um, and then I was looking up smoke tests, and for some reason, that YouTube video said F-150 so and so codes, and I was like, huh, let me watch this. It was a minute long. I was like, let me watch this. He's like, hey, if you have a car and it keeps shutting off on you, check make sure this hose didn't pop off. And there's a hose. It was part of the PCV valve, but it goes all the way back.
Does it go around the back side of the
And
intake?
yeah, and it's right underneath the idle air control valve.
Oh, okay.
Like that
That
one,
hose
like,
rots too.
huh?
That hose rots too. Was it
Yeah,
is it,
that
is it
little
a rubber
elbow.
boot?
Yeah, a little rubber elbow. It
Yeah,
wasn't on
those,
there.
those rot big time.
Yeah, so I replaced the whole thing, but it was just like I couldn't see it. Like literally had to like go and feel it, but I could hear it, and I was like, I don't know where it's coming from. Like I'm
Did it
spraying it.
rot and fall off, or did it just fall off? It
No,
rotted,
like
right?
no, it popped out. Like it was
Oh,
off.
it popped out?
Yeah, I don't know how or what.
Oh, usually they rot off. They rot and fall off, or they suck in. Like the elbow will be like this,
Collapsed.
and it will it'll be like that.
Yeah, it was off. So I don't know what happened or what, but I just replaced the whole
Oh,
thing. And well, at first I didn't even see the holes. I was like, okay, something's supposed to be
yeah, you
here.
can't hardly see it. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so I was like, huh. So I plugged it with my finger. I was like, hey boss, turn the truck on, see if it stays on. It stayed on. I was like,
Right.
okay, well, there's my fucking problem. I'm over here, like, I was spending a lot of time, but it's just like, I guess, like you said, experience, just looking up things. It's like, hey, someone has this problem,
Well, it
and
sucks because in that case, like fuel trims, like sometimes fuel trims like that aren't going to help you. You're only going to know that based on experience. That kind of stuff. Like there's some stuff that like it takes a second for computers to recognize and process and it doesn't just automatically go, oh, fuel trims are 22.5. Like it has to build. And a
yeah,
lot of times as it's building, it shuts off. And you're like, shit, I don't even know. Because a computer is not a scope. A computer, you don't see exactly what's happening when it's happening, just when it's reported. It's like looking at it's like trying to check. Have you ever tried to check resistance on a fuel pump on a fuel sender with a multimeter?
no,
Okay, so if you watch it, it'll be like resistance, 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 right? But if you don't look at it just right, you'll see it'll show increased resistance, decreased resistance, right? But then if you do it just right, you believe resistance, drop out, resistance, 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 and then you bring it back, drop out because it has a bad spot in it. Now, if you had a scope, you would see it as you're going up; it would drop out.
mm,
So you're not going to see that. So you have to remember the computer is not like a scope. The computer only reports what it sees when it sees it, and it doesn't see it like you want it to see it.
Gotcha. I get that because
It's
I
kind of
understand.
weird.
Like on a battery, like if you ever do like
It's
a
like,
battery test on a voltmeter versus like a
right?
scope, I noticed that like when you see how low the voltage goes on my multimeter, it recorded it dropped down to 11 volts and then went up to 13 volts for charging that it was charging on my U scope. It picked up, it dropped down all the way to 9, and then went back up
Yeah.
to 13 volts.
Well, because it shows a min max, yeah.
But
And
the
it's kind
multimeter
of
didn't
like,
pick that up, but the
oh
scope
yeah,
did.
because it's only because it's not as fast. It's kind of like I had another example, but I forgot what it was.
My bad. But yeah, no, definitely experience. You only things from experience, so that's
Oh, absolutely.
definitely the key.
So, hey, you know what? It's a great time for people, for newer technicians and people that are learning, that you don't have to go and spend $500 or $600 and go to classes and all this crap. You have this wonderful world of the internet, and not even just Identifix. You have an amazing tool community, or not. I say tool community, but really
But
it's like a technician community.
yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, because
Bunch
you
of
have the
bunch of other techs
tool
out there.
aspect of it, you have the technician aspect of it. You have so much stuff. Like right now, I have this speed smoke machine, and it's freaking amazing. The Redline speed smoke machine is like the best damn smoke machine I've ever used in my life. Like testing regular evap systems, holy crap! Oh my god, it's crazy. And then testing diesels too. You know what I mean? I can take it over. Somebody asked me the other day. They say, "Hey man, I got this truck and it's throwing O2 codes, and I just want to make sure that the exhaust isn't leaking. Would you mind bringing your machine over?" I was like, "No, sure not. I don't mind at all. I have it on like a Harbor Freight cart. Roll it over there real quick, throw the tube in the tailpipe, pump it up, hook up the machine, grab a jump box, boom, turn the machine on. Okay, cool. Wait 5 minutes. We have no leak. This exhaust is sealed. Okay, cool. No exhaust leaks. Like that fast. Like it's so freaking fast.
It's yours or it's a shop's?
Well, no, I'm kind of partnering with Redline right now, so it's not mine, but it's not the shop's. No, this is between me and Redline. It has nothing to do with the shop.
Oh, they sent it to you?
Yeah, this is
Is that like
kind
a
of
loaner?
like it's
A
like
loaner,
I'm like a kind of
a
like
beta
partnering with
tester.
them. So,
That's dope.
but I mean, it wasn't like a loaner. It wasn't like it didn't come out of the box and be like, this was the property of Redline. It was like a brand new machine. Like this machine would have sold for $2,500 the way I got it. Like it was brand new. It had never been touched, never been
That's,
opened. You know what I mean? So,
do you have to give it
but
back?
it's amazing. Let me tell you, it's not. It is not like when I post it on Instagram. It is not like trying to get people to buy this machine. It is like, dude, this thing is friggin' awesome. Like, holy crap. And with all the vehicles nowadays, all the turbo vehicles nowadays, oh my God, you need a machine that will work on turbo vehicles. The hose, the inside diameter of a Power Pro, of a Smoke Pro, is probably about that big, right? The inside of the hose. The inside of the speed smoke machine is that big. Like the
So you put
hose
it up.
itself is that thick on a speed smoke machine. It pumps so much smoke.
It's very fast.
Well, yeah, because I mean, think about a
The
diesel,
volume.
right? So look at a charge air hose. If you look at a 6 liter, so take a 6 liter for example, and look at the hot side, or even the cold side, right? The passenger side cactus is plastic. It's this big around. Think about how much smoke has to go in to
To
that. How
fill
much
it up.
air and smoke have to go to fill that to be able to push it out and find a leak. So it's not the pressure. Like you can pump that thing up to 27 pounds.
Still gonna take a long time.
27 pounds, but it's not the pressure. It's the volume of smoke. See, I was when I first got it, I was like, oh my God, this thing goes to 27 pounds. That's going to do it right there. And I was actually watching like a thing from Redline, like they post like things on Instagram, and it's not the pressure, it's the volume.
The
So
amount they can put in.
you could have 27 pounds of air, but if a Smoke Pro only puts out, a tiny bit of smoke, there's no smoke to push out.
It's like a throttle body. You get a big old air intake, and then you shove it down into this little throttle body.
Exactly.
Only so much air. Makes sense.
It doesn't do anything. So it's the volume of smoke that makes it beneficial. So, but yeah, I use that thing all the time, man. People will come and tell me like, "Hey, man, can you use your machine real quick? Yeah, let's go check it out."
That's dope. Do you have to give it back?
What?
Do you have to give it back?
I don't know. I'm hoping to own it one day. I don't know. They like what I'm doing, so that's all I have to say.
That's good.
Yeah, they just messaged me and said we love what you're doing. So,
have you seen real quick? Have you seen those band lights? The Onar.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I know CP had just posted about it.
So somebody gave us like my service manager ordered some lights like that. They were very similar. And I didn't like it. It was like that same type of light. It wasn't that light, but it was the same type of light. I did not like it. And I already had like an Observer Tools headlamp and a Streamlight headlamp and another headlamp. I have headlamps coming out of my asshole. And so I was like, you know what? I knew a couple of guys in the shop that didn't get one. And I was like, dude, do you want a headlamp? And they were like, sure, I'll try it out. I was like, here you go, you can have it. Like, it takes batteries. Like, it's just weird. I don't know.
I need to get one. I don't have one, but
I like the Observer Tools one. So I use the Observer Tools one 95% of the time. And the only time I use another one is when that one dies. Because I use my headlamps on high all the time because the shop's not super bright. The ceilings are super high. We don't have skylights. It's not the brightest shop. So you have to have lights, to work. And so I use my headlamp on high all the time. And a headlamp on high all the time is only going to last 60% of your day. No headlamp will last all day on high. And so when it dies, I grab my Streamlight, my Streamlight one, the one I had before the Observer Tools.
Why don't you get two? Have one already charged, and then
yeah, I have another headlamp.
So, I already got two.
It's a top secret one, but
a top secret one.
Well, no, it's a different Observer Tools one, but I actually, out of all the guys in the shop, two other guys in the shop have the Observer Tools headlamp.
Oh, really? They went and bought one?
Two other guys that bought it. So, and then my neighbor, he'll always come over and be like, "Hey, man, I got he has a great reason for borrowing tools. Hey, man, I have a great opportunity for you to use, for you to get a little video of one of your tools."
That's awesome.
That's his way of saying, "Let me borrow something and you shoot a video of it," but like he had something where he had about this much space and he had to have a hex in there, and he couldn't get a hex socket in there, and nothing would work. And so my Carbine Tools hex sockets
got in there with the ring
in there and put I think it was a 13 millimeter, I think he put on the hex drive, and then boom, broke it free and was able to get the bolt out, and worked out perfect. Man, those little stubby sockets, I don't know if you have them, but man, I have the hex, standard and metric, and the triple square and the Torx. Man, those things are worth their weight in gold.
I definitely need the Torx and the hex for sure.
Man,
I need some regular pass-through sockets, like hex pass-through. I need some cheap ones so I can burr out, so I can use them for strut assemblies. Like the ones where the nuts all the way in there, and then it's just spinning.
Go buy a set from Harbor Freight. The wrenches that are like, wait, hang on.
The 75 degree, the L looking ones. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're like this, and they're like one side. Hang on, this is always weird. One side goes down and like that, or no? down and like that.
Yeah,
And then the other side
goes
goes
up
up and then up and the other way.
like a Z.
Yeah, like a Z, like a long Z. I
Yeah.
bought a set from Harbor Freight. I've always wanted to own a set and have never owned one. And I had a million times where I thought, oh, if I had those stupid ass wrenches, right? But I'm not paying $300 for them. And then one day I was at Harbor Freight and I was like, I bet these are going to come in handy. I've used them like probably 5 or 6 times doing struts and shit like that.
Well, see, I usually use my boss has a set, so I usually grab his and they will work.
Oh,
But these, it was so far deep. If I have the video, so I'll send you. What I ended up doing was I got one of my shallow sockets and I put some vice grips on it. And luckily, the strut tower, the strut rod, was actually a hex. So I was able to put the socket in. I was able to fix my hex through the 3/8 hole,
okay.
and zap it out. But I was like, man, if I
You
buy
couldn't zap. You were changing the strut, and not you were changing just the strut, right?
yeah,
So you couldn't the net wouldn't come off if you were like just doop 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 like quick trigger finger.
no. So what I actually had to end up doing, on this,
Did
because
you
this
have it
was
like
the
all
first
the
one.
way compressed?
At first, what I ended up doing was just taking all the tension off,
Uh-huh.
and I just zapped it out, and it shot the strut out.
Okay, I was about to say if you keep so
Tension.
I found 2 things with struts. If you keep most of the pressure on the strut, I found that as long as you don't have adapters on your gun, like meaning like if you have a single socket, even if it's a wobble socket and it's a single socket, usually that and keeping tension on the strut will usually break it loose. So I had a strut one time and I didn't have, this is before I invested in wobble sockets and impact wobble sockets. And so I had to use an extension. I had to use a universal and a socket to do it with my gun because that's all I had. And it wouldn't take it off. And I said something to a guy and he was like, oh shit. He's like, here, man, use this socket right here. And I was like, bloop, and it came off. I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. That's the difference between having the real socket and a
Wobble.
putting multiple pieces together. So, but yeah, that's what I found. If you keep most of the tension on the strut, it's like even like a sway bar end link, right? Go and just hit your gun. It's not going to come off. It's just going to spin. But if you hit it like it'll like slowly start to walk itself off.
Yeah, that's so that's what I had to do, because the first one, like, it wasn't coming off, and it was just like I don't know. Honestly, that was the first time I've ever had any trouble with the strut spring, because usually, like, sometimes I will spin, I'll just grab some pliers, like it's getting replaced, I'll grab some pliers, squeeze
Right.
it, zap it off, but this one, it was not happening. And then even with the tension on, like, I was still having trouble getting it off. Like, that lock nut was not wanting to come off. My boss was ready about to say, like, just torch it. I was like, no, let me try it. I took the spring load all the way off, and then I had the vice grips and I was holding it, and then I got my 1/2 inch impact, and I just and then it finally just shot the strut out, and spring went flying too and everything, but
oh shit!
like I got it off. So
oh wow, damn,
but
that's crazy.
All right, bro. I guess we'll call it a day.
Yes, sir. We had a hell of an audience tonight, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Not too bad. Very alive. I think we reached like 12 at one point.
Did we have 12 really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I saw 6.
It was at one point, but that's all right.
Oh,
It's good chatting with you, man.
Talk to you, so.
Huh?
It's I came in here to talk to you.
Yeah, so did I.
You came in to talk to yourself too?
No, I can't talk to you. But
all right, brother.
I'll talk to you later, Tom. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
See ya.
Later, brother.